Wearing say something right now. You put it on this morning in about 40 seconds. Didn't think much about it. Hey, but dirty decision, that completely automatic, totally invisible habit, as one of the strangest things a human being does. And nobody ever questions it. Now, but every culture on earth wears clothes, in every single one. In hot climates, cold climates, isolated tribes with no contact with the outside world. All of them cover themselves, which raises a question that nobody really asks. Jahol, why? So the obvious answer is warmth. Except that doesn't hold up. Their clothing shows up in the fossil record while humans were still living in tropical Africa, in heat, where warmth was the last thing anyone needed. So warmth came later. It wasn't the beginning, protection then, thorns, rocks, rough terrain. Except here's the problem. If protection were the real reason, the first thing we would have covered is feet and hands, the parts that actually take damage. Instead, in almost every early culture tree, the first thing humans covered here was the torso and groin, the areas least exposed. That's not a practical decision, that's something else. So what was it mean? Make us a record. In 2003, geneticists found the answer in the most unexpected place: lice. Specifically, the evolutionary split between head lice and body lice. Head lice live in hair, body lice live in clothing. They cannot survive without fabric. So scientists traced when these two species diverged from each other, and that split gives a hard biological timestamp for when humans started wearing clothes consistently enough for an entirely new parasite to evolve around it. The answer was 170,000 years ago. We didn't find the first piece of clothing a creature that evolved or because of it. And then that date is important because it means clothing started long before we moved into cold climates, long before survival required it. So the real reason wasn't warmth, wasn't protection, it was something that researchers have only recently started talking about seriously. Shame, not in the religious sense, shame in the neurological sense. The awareness of being seen, the feeling that your body exists in the eyes of other people and is being evaluated. This is a uniquely human experience. It requires what psychologists call theory of mind. The ability to step outside yourself and imagine what you look like through someone else's eyes. Dogs don't have this. Chimpanzees barely show traces of it. But somewhere in human evolution, our brains developed the ability to see ourselves from the outside. And the moment that happened, the uncovered body became something that needed managing. Because your body, uncovered, sent signals you could no longer control. Clothing fixed that. For the first time, a human being could edit how they appeared, choose what they communicated, shape their own image before saying a single word. And once that idea took hold, it never went away. You can see it in cultures that never needed clothing for warmth. The Amazon, the Pacific Islands, Central Africa, people still covered and decorated themselves. Paint, feathers, beads, tattoos. Because the body was never just a body. It was a message. And humans are the only species that understood their body was constantly sending one. As social groups grew larger and more complex, clothing became a full communication system. Before you spoke to a stranger, their clothing told you everything. Their tribe, their rank, whether they were a threat or an ally. Clothing was language, one of the oldest forms we ever developed here. And unlike spoken language, you can't turn it off. You are always broadcasting in which bring it backward this morning, am I? Those 40 seconds you spent getting dressed without thinking ki. Your brain was running something ancient and deeply social. You weren't just picking fabric. You were constructing a version of yourself. Managing how you'd be perceived, negotiating between who you are and who you want to be seen as. That slight anxiety when you show up overdressed or underdressed, that's 170,000 years of social cognition firing at once. Didn't start wearing clothes because you were cold. You started because you became aware that other people could see you. And that awareness